Good late Wednesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, tracking a severe thunderstorm warning in play for portions of Marion County until about 11:45 this morning. We do have some damaging wind potential down there now. Area kind of a little bit more intense than other areas around it, impacting the Ocala area. So we need to make sure folks are taking precaution. I know it's a little away from the radar sites. It's kind of hard to know exactly what's going on down there, but we do have some pretty intense activity kind of moving on through there in Marion County. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm playing to 11:45. At 11:16, a severe thunderstorm is located near Ocala Airport, or 9 miles southwest of Ocala, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible. Ocala, Lynn, Santos, Anthony, Ocala Airport, Silver Spring, Swords there, and Burbank. So, pretty nasty storm there. I know we also have a significant advisory to the north. I know for Bradford County, that is about to expire. We haven't had any warnings otherwise. That's the first one we've had in terms of a severe thunderstorm warning in our area. That's down to the south. We've had some fast marine warnings, of course, but over land, in terms of a severe thunderstorm warning, or tornado warning, or flash flood warning, well, the only one of the three is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in play right now for Marion County. But we did just have a report of a gust there to 49 miles an hour at the Keystone Airport. That was at 11:15. I'm about to radar up, and I want to kind of mention something about this. So you kind of look at this, and you see the radar at 11:12, and you kind of realize some of that wind is more on the back side of the storminess here, because as I back up what kind of happened around Stark, we had some pretty heavy rain, of course, coming on through there. I know they did issue a significant advisory around 10:48 or so, but by then we already had the heavy rain action around Stark, so already starting to kind of come on through at that point. Some of the winds kind of trailing aloft. You see it there, kind of showing up there further over to the east. This is a back to radar up if you're wondering what I'm doing. I don't want to confuse you, I might be, but this is from 10:48, and that's when they issued the advisory. But you kind of had the wind trailing this a little bit, and you actually, as I go over the storm relative velocity, it didn't took that well, but we had the gust there around 11:15. So let's kind of just keep our eyes on things as we look toward like Duval County and make sure things don't ramp up on us there. As we look to the south, I know, again, right on the edge of the radar, but we very well could have some of the worst of the wind coming through now, even on the back side of the heaviest rain, depending on exactly how this is setting on up. There's also a little weak rotation around, it looks like US 27, but again, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what is going on right now. So it's something to kind of bear in mind here as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the overall scenario in terms of the Doppler perspective. So that's kind of the storyline there. I know I do see we've had some other gusts here recently across some of the area. Let me just go ahead and say here another view of things. I mean, this shows that we've had winds around, you see, southwest Georgia. They're way past the radar. We just had a gust of 46 miles an hour on Donaldsonville. Gust there just north of our area in Bacon County. There you're seeing not too heavy a precip there. Gust to 41 miles an hour. And see, it kind of tells a story here this morning. I'm not really seeing too many power outages as I look at things right now on my information, but just know that the wind's kind of trailing the rain here, so not exactly a traditional type of situation going on. We'll see. There's a chance that the rain and the wind might be more aligned in Marion County, and that could lead to a little bit of damage. And also, weak rotations possible, and that could lead possibly, I don't really see it right now, but we're so far away on the radar, I can't say that it's not happening. Maybe a quick spin of tornado, but there's no formal tornado warning here as we're looking. I know I'm looking at power outage numbers. I don't see too many around at the moment. 143 customers out in Marion County is all I'm seeing so far, but that could change. So just kind of continue here to watch the situation as we're tracking it. I know we're just trying to keep you, your friends, your family safe and informed on exactly what's going on. Let me go ahead and switch on over right now toward our other view on here, and that's going to be our risk area. You see the marginal in the dark green, general thunderstorm in the light green, and then zoom out. You do see there is a risk of a little bit more organized severe weather further up today in the country, and it's now going all the way, way up there toward like Nantucket and the like. Not with the tornado risk there, but with the wind risk instead. As we're looking at things, so that's kind of intriguing to see. And then you also see some snow. East Tennessee, East Kentucky, West Virginia, and the like. That's kind of intriguing to see as we're checking on the latest information. I know it's just always important to do that. And we also have, we've had some wind advisories in play. We also have a frost advisory in play as we're looking here towards some of our counties for tonight. This is just a sampling. I'm not showing everything, but Columbia's in that as well. But frost advisories, you kind of got a glimpse at that real quick. That kind of tells the story as we're dealing with the overall situation here. Definitely trying to give you guys the very latest on exactly what is going on here this morning. I know, let's try to give you a view here of the Ocala area. Just one camera perspective. We'll check our Florida 511 view here as things do go along. So let me go ahead and pull this up. This is in the Ocala vicinity. And you do see the slick roads out there this morning. But I'm not seeing a whole, bunch of wind. The camera did shake right when I said that, just a little bit there. But, it's kind of hard to tell from one different perspective. Sometimes it's the extent of things. But again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Marion County until 11:45 this morning, and a new advisory for parts of like Duval County, coastal Duval, until 11:45 as well. So that's kind of the storyline there on our view. I'll switch back away from that again. We had our first warning issued here not too long ago. It may end up being about our only warning here because a lot of the accidents getting further east, the winds kind of misaligned. So that kind of limits things sometimes here as we're tracking the overall situation. We have wind advisories in play for like Albany, Valdosta, and the like. Now that means outside of, Axon here, even you could still get gusts to 40 miles an hour until 4 o'clock or so this afternoon. Gusty winds will blow down some unsecured objects, even potentially, and tree limbs could be blown down as well, and a few power outages may result. And winds this strong can make driving difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles. So just use extra caution here as we're looking at things in the weather center. So let me go ahead here and see what we might have and pull up our camera perspective here east of Stark. Again, we're outside the worst of the heavy downpours. And let me go ahead and jump on over here. This is our camera shot. It's looking better now. I know our rain gauge, though. We got 6/10 of an inch here today. Some of that at night, but quite a bit of it here just in the last little bit. Temperature is 7 degrees, but tonight we're gonna have almost let me do the math here, almost a 40 or so degree temperature drop, and have frost here, and even may even get a light breeze depending on exactly how things set up. So that's going to be a big story here in the hours to come as we look ahead here in toward the timeline. So again, there's a view from Stark right now. We are just continuing to track everything here for you. And let me go ahead right now and zoom back on in toward the local view of the Doppler perspective. I know, still can't roll out a quick spin up tornado, but you see how We have stuff, organized up toward Jacksonville, but then like a gap, and you see some organization on Ocala. And let's pull up our tornado parameters. They're not, that low actually here, but everything's kind of misaligned a little. But instability, that's setting up some too. So we're lucky we haven't had more warnings, quite honestly, here. This is our first one. As we're tracking things, and they're telling us now they're going to expire this severe thunderstorm warning at 11:45. So that is some good news. The weather service in Jacksonville is going off the map here, but that didn't mean exactly that. It's not in play until 11:45 though. So keep that in mind as we're looking at things. And we're just trying to give you the very latest here on exactly what's happening. There's some gusty conditions here moving through portions of the area. Of course, we always give you the latest information as we check things on our 62 counties, like Marion. And the storm, which prompted a warning, has weakened below severe limits, according to Weather Service, and no longer poses an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, a warning will be allowed to expire. However, gusty winds are still possible with this thunderstorm. So that's kind of the storyline there as we're looking at things right now in Marion County. So that's intriguing to kind of note. And if you weren't with me last night for a late night update, let me see your forecast here real quick. I'll pop up for 7-day, and you can see here cold conditions. That'll be the story here late tonight, tomorrow morning, especially as things really minimize in terms of those readings. And that's noteworthy. So bundle up. Only going to warm up in the upper 50s tomorrow, and we'll start to warm up. It'll be a pretty nice weekend overall. Maybe some scattered showers Saturday and Sunday, but nothing too crazy. And then Monday, Tuesday there next week, even more clear conditions with similar temperature readings. So that's kind of storyline as we're looking at things right now. I know we really did need that rain here around Bradford County where I'm at. And we'll kind of punch it on up the rainfall information here. 1 hour rainfall. You can see some of these blues here are close to a ½ an inch of rain. We have these drought conditions, so we really do need the rain. Don't want the lightning. I'm not getting a whole bunch. There's a little bit in Duval County. That's a little bit in Marion County, though, as well. So that's kind of the storyline with all that. Let me go ahead and see if we have any more maybe camera perspectives here. Bear with me as I kind of check. I'll see if we can maybe pull up something in Duval County here to give you guys an idea of what's going on. I know formal warning activity here, and not necessarily the storyline as we look ahead, which is good news. But let me go ahead and just try to look at some of the different cameras here. I'll look at Butler Boulevard, at Kernan Boulevard in Jacksonville. Let me go ahead and pull up that Florida 511 perspective right now here with exactly what is going on. I know it is wet out there, no warning up there, but live look at things. I know, just looking at the slick road, I know if you were watching me at our late night update, we said as we circle back over now toward Bradford County, we said between like 10 and 11 a.m. is when we had the storms, and it was a little bit, on the later side of that in that time range, but pretty much, on target there, 8 hours out with that forecast. So give me a heads up, but we didn't have any warnings in Bradford, so we didn't need to post anything. It's by the time the SCD advisory is already over us here, and in Stark, and then no warning in play for our area, with the exception of Marion County. So that's just the information there to kind of let you guys know about. Just always trying to stay on top of things here to protect you, your friends, and your family. That's what it's all about here at Cloud Weather. As we're on the air late this morning, just making sure you guys are understanding exactly what is going on here, exactly what is happening. So Again, let me just go ahead and keep looking at things here. Keep checking them. I'm just trying to make sure I stay on top of everything. You know, a lot of different things kind of coming out here from time to time with the information. So just trying to let you guys know exactly what we're dealing with. Just running through some things here real quick. Gonna check to see with that gust close to 50 at Keystone Airport. I'm checking to see if there's any minor damage here around there. There very well could be, but nothing, you know, overwhelming, I wouldn't think at this point. I know sometimes it gets a little tricky, you know, because you don't know the exact reasoning behind some of this stuff, but getting information that there's a traffic assignment at Call Street and Collier Road in Bradford and Stark, so that sometimes can indicate maybe, you know, some hazard there, but I don't have the full details on that as I kind of look here right now. So, just kind of looking at some of the information. Now, that may not be weather related, but I don't know for sure. Again, just continuing to give you the latest information, though. Just trying to keep you up to date. So, again, we're at 11:43 right now. I'll be wrapping it up here soon, based on what I'm seeing. Just wanted to pop in for a little bit since we had that warning pop up. Didn't want it to get to a tornado warning on us or something touch down. We weren't on the air with you guys because this stuff can be kind of tricky. As we talked about 2020 and 2021, you know, we mentioned this in our late night update. We had tornadoes pop up in Bradford County almost the exact same time of year, and we didn't have tornado warnings on them. One had a severe thunderstorm warning in play for a while, on Christmas Eve, and the other one, we had a severe thunderstorm warning in play as the tornado was starting to really touch down. So, again, I just want to be careful. We didn't have any of those severe thunderstorm warnings in Bradford. The only one we had today, or in a while really, Marion County, and that is expired in here 1 minute per se, as we're kind of looking at things. We kind of give you guys the very latest here on exactly what's happening. I know they just put on a mesoscale discussion to the Storm Prediction Center there in Norman, Oklahoma. You see how warm it is around Brevard County. That's kind of interesting. And there is a discussion about that there. I mean, that is very warm here in December. 84. They're getting that instability. So we'll have to see. I know the threat was not necessarily, you know, indicating that area earlier on. But tornado threat, not so much. But a wind threat, maybe so. It's isolated severe gust, and perhaps even a tornado could not be ruled out this afternoon as we're looking further down to the south, but a watch is not expected. A surface cold front is rapidly approaching the Florida Peninsula, preceded by a loosely organized QLCS, so a quasi-linear convective system. And these storms are approaching a gradually destabilizing air mass with surface temperatures exceeding 80 cents. Instead of stuff being maybe not surface-based or not aligned, it can become surface-based and aligned, and that can also increase a low tornado threat. I mean, still be low, but, you know, increase the, you know, very low potential, and maybe something accidents happen as we're looking at things. I know folks, you know, like, across some of those universities, FSU, for instance, they have some of those final exams. You know, the students hopefully are going well. As you know, it's windy, cool already out there. 58 in Tallahassee. As I kind of go back to the mesoscale discussion, they're saying, you know, those dew points. I mean, a lot of instability down there around Orlando, though. This is getting out of our area, but we have more of that daytime heating. Let me pull up some of our other imagery here. Talking about the visible satellite. I'm kind of curious here to see what this might be showing. Okay, so in the clouds, but you know, as we go back here, you can't see it from what 4 hours ago, but infrared 4 hours ago. Now the clouds are there, but we did have, you know, as I kind of punch this around, 4 hours ago the clouds were across most of our area around sunrise. I'm looking here. I mean, sunrise 7:14 this morning. This is the view from like 7:16, or no 8:16, I guess, on our satellite. But you get the idea. Well, we weren't warming up very much across most of our area, but they had a chance to warm up further down toward our region here. So, or further down outside of our region. I'm sorry, I'm kind of reading some stuff here on our screen. So, again, let me pull up the radar again. Why deep layer sear and some low-level cirrus proceeds the line. Deep layer ascent will continue to drift away from Florida. So you're not getting everything. That's why there's just a 1 out of 5 risk. You know, as the cirrus gradually weaken through the day. However, a brief window of opportunity may exist for the buoyancy and shear parameter space to briefly coincide and support a couple damaging wind gusts or a tornado with the stronger updrafts. Nonetheless, a severe threat should remain isolated. A watch is unlikely to be issued, only 20% chance there, and that'd be for that blue circled area. So most of the area, you know, Roy is looking, you know, pretty good here at this point. As you're watching, there's some gusty winds back behind, so still, you know, watch and stay weather aware. But I mean, you see some lightning around Fernandina Beach, Jacksonville, Craig Municipal Airport, and Naval Air Station. So some heavy rain up that way. You know, as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the situation, we had some gusty winds kind of in between. This stuff, you know, maybe more surface-based, but the organization, but radar coverage isn't great. But, you know, it is warmer down there, so some of that could kind of get down to the surface in a more uniform fashion. That could cause some of that stuff to strengthen a little, but shouldn't be an overwhelming threat since you're kind of retreats, but there's enough of an overlap. We could have some issues, you know, albeit pretty isolated, you know, like up here, but maybe it's such a, you know, just a little bit more as we're looking towards central Florida. So that's kind of the storyline with all that. See how cool it is, though. I mean, look at that wind coming from the west-northwest, bringing that cool air behind the front. I mean, it's going to get pretty chilly as we're looking tonight, so just keep that in mind. I know our forecast, you know, I said it last night, it doesn't necessarily do it justice since we're already cooling down so much here, upside down day. You know, some of our zones are like, you know, how cool it already is as we're looking toward like Tallahassee. But, you know, other than that, our forecast here, you know, as you look ahead, it's not going to be necessarily upside down days. So we look toward tomorrow, it's just going to be pretty chilly in the morning. Frost concerns, some freeze concerns before we warm up some, especially by later Friday and then toward the weekend. It can be pretty nice. I mean, like the coast areas there, the first coast, you know, it's going to be, you know, pretty nice conditions even. So a few scattered showers, sure, but overall nothing, you know, too bad. I mean, it's going to be pretty nice here for December, especially. So I know graduation's coming on up there, some of the area universities and the like. So, you know, just something to kind of keep in mind. And the weather looks pretty good as we get later on in toward the timeline. This is our highest chance of rain. It's been moving through right now. Weather's going to clear up. Things are going to get nicer. That's great news, you know, as we're looking. But we did need the rainfall. We've gotten some of that here. 6 tenths of an inch here each historic as I'm looking at my Davis weather station. So that's a good bit of rain. I mean, that's the most we've had in a while. So we really needed that because we are in drought, you know, conditions here. And the grass is all dead. It's, you know, in part because we've been so cold here lately. We've had multiple freezes where we're at here. It's just dark. I mean, I haven't necessarily seen that all these years, you know, recently. It's early on. We're going to be in a more warm pattern come up, except for tonight where we could have, and tomorrow night to a lesser extent, you know, those chilly conditions, but kind of more warming up here, you know, as we're looking at, as we're tracking things. So, you know, that's something to kind of keep in mind this time of year as we're looking at things. We do need, you know, a method to get that precip. So at least we got some of that here today. We, you know, we just have to kind of keep that in mind as we're down with things. as we're tracking the overall situation. So let me go ahead and pull one up here. Another view. Bear with me. I don't even see the advisory down to the south there today. Okay, looks like they're no longer putting out advisories even. So if I'm looking at this right, so that's some good news. That's very good news on this. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna stick with this any longer. At this point, that's what we like to see. But down toward Orlando, they'll be watching. As the situation does progress. Of course, if something were to warrant, we'll be back on the air, of course. And we're kind of dealing with things as we're kind of tracking things. I'm just going to check something else real quick. I wanted to kind of remind you of a holiday schedule here for updates. Of course, we'll be on if anything warrants. Okay, this new kind of new advisory now for Flagler, Marion, and Putnam gets to 40 possible there. And I popped up on this map, but that just come on out. That's going to be in play at 12:30. So we'll keep our eyes on things. We don't need to stick on the air here unless we get some more, severe weather warnings. And if we were to get those, maybe Flagler gets it or something like that. But otherwise, it'd be outside of our area, I think. Still kind of gusty, though, for that lunch break and the like. And some showers, depending on where you're at. But it'd be hard to get a warning, outside of like that. Putnam, Marion, region to a degree, but especially Flagler could still get something. So we'll watch that. But yeah, here's our holiday schedule. In terms of updates, we're not doing the late Thursday updates here right now with that holiday period, the Christmas season here and the like. So late Tuesday's update, last week we did, and last night's update. Our next formal update will be late Tuesday next week, late Tuesday, early Wednesday. Then the Christmas week will be on late Monday or late Tuesday, so we're not, going on the Christmas morning. And then the same principle applies for New Year's week there. Instead of late Tuesday or late Wednesday, it'll be late Monday or late Tuesday, and not an update later in the week. But of course, we can always break in like we're doing right now if it is warranted. So just kind of informing you about that. There's our advisory, by the way, that just popped back up. As let's check our velocity here, our wind mode on radar. See a little bit of enhancement, and nothing crazy there. But there is a little bit of something around Salt Springs to Georgetown. So we have to still watch. Can't completely let our guard down in case something were to all of a sudden tighten up with the greens and the red trying to come together. The old express in here, as that moment red actually says something a little bit more interesting. But the old express in here, they don't have an advisory out for Volusia yet out of that office. But there's a little bit of weak rotation. But if the greens and reds, really tighten up, they come together. The greens and reds together, and you get under the bed per se is kind of that expressed in there. As you look at things, but as we track things here, right here, that body of water, that sometimes you can get a little bit of something there, right on that edge. So we'll have to watch that there. We're not going to stay on, but unless we get another one pop up on us real quick, and then we probably would. But that is some weak rotation, so watch out for a water spout that could come ashore briefly as a tornado or something down there. Not a huge chance of that happening. Nothing overwhelming, but it's not zero here. So that's something to kind of touch on, something to bear in mind. But let's go ahead. Again, say you guys here of our different platforms. Facebook, Casey Cloud X, Cloud Weather, Twitter /X at Cloud Casey, YouTube at Cloud Weather, Twitch Cloud Weather, and Cloud.com. I know we're always giving you the latest here when it is necessary. I know you had that advisory for Stark, but I didn't post about it because we were already getting the rain by then. So that but we didn't have any warnings for Stark or anybody else outside of Marion here so far. And most of us, the chance of having a warning is pretty much zero at this point. We have a marine warning toward those coastal waters from the Altamaha Sound to Fernandina Beach at 20 nautical miles, Fernandina Beach to St. Augustine at 20 nautical miles. and the light there as we're looking at the coastal waters and even the waters further off, 20 to 60 nautical miles. But the point is, that's more about the water over land. The one warning we had was for Marion. We could still get one into Ward Putnam, the Flagler, but that'd be about it here. As we do watch some of that weak rotation of the Doppler algorithm, and nothing crazy there. As we look, I will say we did have some wind aloft here earlier on. That was sewing up on some of our systems. I think that's how we were able on the back side to get that wind to the surface there on Keystone like it did, because of, well, I'll see our other source here. We could kind of got a little bit more impressive looking aloft as you see all the brighter colors. And then we had that gust of, close to 50 miles an hour around Keystone. Let me take our report off so you can see what I'm talking about. So that was right at 11:15 where you had that, gusty wind out ahead kind of. And then, on the mode, but it was actually happening down toward the surface. Then, as you kind of look, as you kind of see, you had the pattern there. On velocity, just so it's like severe winds there a lot because of the instability issues. Kind of having trouble getting to the surface, just kind of backing this up. Didn't really have a whole bunch, velocity there. You had a little bit more around like Kingsley there into the east, but nothing too crazy. There is just recently. Well, that's interesting. Okay, we may need to check. Okay, that is interesting. Surprised I'm not an advisory for that. There's weak rotation now around Atlantic Beach. It's probably headed right into the coastal waters now, but that's some rotation. I'm surprised we won't have an advisory on that, but you see a gust of 47, so this is right there at the coast now, but this is strengthening, maybe trying to get a really quick spin up, tornado or really something of a water spout type nature more as this gets over the coastal waters, but that kind of catches my eye. That's the latest scan, and that's a couple minutes behind at this point. You saw a little bit of that, but that last scan right around Atlantic Beach, I wonder if we had something. I don't see any debris or anything. There's no warning on this, but that's why you gotta be kind of careful. That little hook on there, right as this goes off, you get more instability, and it's trying to, intrude here, infiltrate here the storm axis and to try to get this to be more productive. And so that's something to kind of bear in mind. Okay, and now it's gone. That's how quick it is. It's away from the coast now. Velocity hadn't quite caught up, but yes, so that was interesting to see though. That's why you gotta be kind of careful here sometimes because that right at the last scan there, not even an advisory, and you kind of had something pop up on us. I will say we just had a gust of tropical storm force, 39 miles an hour on Tallahassee. No rain around there, so kind of intriguing with that. And the velocity caught up is weaker now, but yeah, it tightened up right there around Atlantic Beach. I'd be, a little curious to see if something happened around there. Though we don't see anything on debris. Granted, the scan's kind of, it's going so quick. But that really kind of got, strong looking there, right when it got into the instability. So that was intriguing. No warning, no advisory. There's a marine warning, but not a land type of warning. Marine, I know the polygon covers some land, but those aren't really land-based warnings. They're for the marine areas. So, something to kind of keep in mind there, though, as we're looking at things. So we're watching down here. We don't want something like that to happen, over land here that becomes even more definitive, and then we'd have issues. So we're going to still watch Putnam Flagler. Maybe, I guess, Southern St. John's, but that's something that it may not quite really get into that zone. But yeah, it's kind of backing things up. It's kind of the, as you look at this, a little bit of rotation, but it wasn't crazy. Had a little bit of a tightening there, but still, I say tightening. It really wasn't tightening up that much from US 17. And you kind of watch it. There's really not much there until that last scan right around Atlantic Beach. That right there is, as I do the math on this, that is about 70 miles an hour worth of rotation around Atlantic Beach. That could have been a quick, EF0 tornado there. I don't know that it was. I don't see the debris signature, but that was intriguing how that come together and shows you just how close we were to getting some stuff here over land if it didn't actually really verify. So You know, you gotta be kind of careful and still watch down here that it didn't look that, organized, but that's kind of looking from further aloft. So just, always be ready to take those, tornado safety tips in play. Let me reorganize this here. Just be ready to seek acceptance in that sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet. We have not had any tornado warnings or anything like that. But but you have zero tornado, be light damage, but still impactful. Especially right here around lunch hour. So something to kind of bear in mind as we're looking at that, as we're tracking things here, as we're dealing with the very latest. So I think that's going to do it for now. If we need to pop back in, we will. So I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. I know we've kind of been trying to wrap this up a few minutes, but we wanted to make sure we got everything in there. Stay safe. Again, watching things. The reason we came on, if you're like tuning in right at lunch here, is we had severe thunderstorm warning for Marion County. That got dropped though. That's the only warning for land area that we've had. Right when we were, about to wrap things up, I saw something on Atlantic Beach, but that was going off in the coastal waters. No advisory, no severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, but there was some, decent looking rotation there. So if you have any reports, send them to the Weather Service in Jacksonville and/or send them to me. So could I have something really quick there? Didn't see a debris signature, but it was too quick for them to issue any type of warning on that, other than just a special marine warning in play. That's for the marine zones. Let me see if I have any comments, questions here from anybody at home as we're looking at things, as we're tracking. I don't see anything, but wrapping it for now. We'll be back if it is warranted, but otherwise, just stay safe out there here on this Wednesday afternoon. Some wet roads still got a little more rain coming around dark next little bit. Could still have a little bit of gusty wind back behind because of the nature of things here. Even though it's not going to be, something overwhelming, we do have some gusty winds around and we'll have some light rain. So it's still not going to be perfect conditions here, but the overall severe threat is over for most of us. Just got to watch our far southeastern zone, as I've talked about, especially, Flagler County, but a little bit of Putnam as well. And if we have something else, I'll be back on. But otherwise, have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And we'll be back here next week unless we need to pop back in sooner.